So I live in Detroit. Well, I used to live in Detroit. I don't live in Detroit any longer. But I've been a resident of Detroit all my life, right? And last Monday on the 3rd, June the 3rd, or July the 3rd, there was a mass Amber Alert sent out. And y'all know how if you don't know how Amber Alerts work, I'm pretty sure everyone does by now, but if you don't know how they work, Amber Alert gets sent out. It hits everybody's phone within the area, within the county, right? And sometimes it crosses over other counties. So we get an Amber Alert, everybody. Detroit, St. Clair Shores, Inkster, Dearborn, everybody gets a mass Amber Alert, right? And so the Amber Alert is about a 2-year-old girl who is missing. Doesn't really have any details. It just says that they're looking for her. She's missing. No one knows where she is, right? So a day goes by, and we start to get more information about this little girl. And the little girl's name is Winter Cole Smith. And 2 days pass, nothing. 3 days, on the 3rd day of this little girl being missing, they end up finding her body. They end up finding her body in an abandoned alleyway that has been overrun with greenery and brush. Okay? So after that discovery is made, we start to get more details about what happened to this little girl. Now, it turns out that she was kidnapped by her mother's ex-boyfriend, okay? Now, the man was not her biological father. That's important. Not her biological father. However, there was an altercation that happened between her mom and her ex, and the little girl was there when the altercation took place, and as a result, she was kidnapped, taken to this alley, and she ended up being strangled with a phone cord, with an iPhone charger cord. And it's a case that is absolutely sickening, and it's sad. And I'm going to get to my point in 1 minute, but I just want to read a little bit from the case we have here. So it says, new details emerge about Michigan toddler Winter Cole Smith's alleged murder. Okay. She was kidnapped and murdered by her mom's ex-boyfriend, Rashad Trice. So I'm going to go down here so we could get a little bit more detail. The suspect who allegedly kidnapped and killed 2-year-old Winter Cole Smith after a violent sexual assault with the toddler's mom could face the death penalty. Happy to hear it. Get him the fuck up out of here. Rashad Trice, age 26, allegedly sexually assaulted his ex late night on July the 2nd, stole her car, and abducted the toddler during his getaway, but not before she stabbed Trice in the leg. Trice was arrested the next morning after he crashed his car while fleeing police. But Winter wasn't in the car, which triggered an Amber Alert and a 3-day search that tragically ended in a Detroit alley between Olympia Street and Edgewood Avenue. Listen, I cannot imagine having a little girl and then having her kidnapped by someone who you know to be a monster, right? It says Winter's family, friends, and the Lansing community came together to honor her life in vigils where Winter's grandma, Sharon Eddings, warned attendees that being bitter will create these Rashad Trices. Listen, there's nothing you could say to me. I would definitely be bitter in this situation because this little girl right here suffered as a result of that. Now, there's a couple things to address here, right? Of course, this is extremely sad. But I think when we think about everything comes back to the money, right? I know you probably don't want to associate that with this type of situation, but it absolutely does. All of your life choices come down to how it affects your financial status in this world. So here you have a situation. Single mom. No longer with the father. Okay, That's not uncommon. That happens, right? That's what the government wants. They like to see that. So, single mom, no longer with the baby's father. But then the single mom goes and gets with a guy who has a criminal. Listen, Rashad Trice has a criminal past, y'all. And it wasn't a secret. I believe he was wanted that he had cases across 5 different counties in Michigan. Across 5 different counties in Michigan. And you got with this dude, putting not only your life in jeopardy, but your daughter's life in jeopardy. See, when we make decisions, we all too often we don't think about the repercussions. Everybody wants to talk about how free we are and how it's a free country. You are absolutely free to make whatever decision you want to make. But what you're not free of are the consequences of those decisions. I say it all the time. You're not free of the consequences of your decisions. And when you have situations like this is absolutely what can happen as a result of decisions that you've made. This mom was with this dude, had no business being with him. No business being with this dude. None whatsoever. And as a result, her daughter ends up paying the price. Hey, let me share a story with y'all. Let me share another personal story with y'all. I told y'all I got married young, right? Okay. Went through the divorce. We broke up. Age 29. After that, I say, you know what? I don't want to get married ever again. I'm just going to be out here in these streets. Can I be real with y'all? Can we be real for a moment? I'm going to be real with y'all. I think it's important to be real and to be transparent. So after I got divorced, I said, you know what? I'm going to be out here in these streets now. Now I'm ripping and running. Now I'm getting into everything that I could. I'm hitting every chick that I think that I want. Mind you, I was 29 years old. There was a lot less of me to love, right? I was somewhat in shape. You know, the world was my oyster. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go out here and I'm about to hit every chick that I run into, because I had been in 9 years, I hadn't been with any other chick, and my wife, my first wife, she was my first everything, right? So I hadn't experienced the world. So I'm like, you know what? I'm about to experience the world. I'm about to experience everything that I ever wanted to experience. And so what happened? I ended up getting with this chick. Beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. I believe she was mixed with something. She was like black and Latina or something like that. Beautiful girl, right? On the outside. Beautiful girl. Body, everything I wanted visually, physically. Got with this girl. Immediately, the red flags hit, but I ignored them. I ignored every red flag that I saw. First red flag, she was a single mom with 2 kids. That wasn't the red flag. The red flag was she was a single mom with 2 kids, and the baby's father was in jail, was in prison. That was the red flag that I ignored. That was the red flag that I ignored. But I wanted this girl. She was beautiful, right? Beautiful girl. I didn't care nothing about that. At the time, I just wanted the skins. Can we be real? Everything was good. She had a great box, right? Great box. Phenomenal. But in reality, I had no business being with this chick. No business being with this girl. Because other than that box, she was a certified loser. She had no job. Her attitude was terrible. She was raising 2 young kids on her own, and both of her kids were terrible. They had discipline issues because there's no father in the home. I didn't like her kids. Couldn't stand them. Could not stand the kids, but I stayed in a situation that I had no business being in because the box was great. I put myself in a terrible situation all over some box. And all over because of how she looked. Some physical traits, some physical shit. Young and dumb. And I knew better. I knew better, y'all. But I stayed in that situation. Now, luckily, I had enough wisdom and enough knowledge and enough intelligence to know that this is not somebody you need to procreate with. So we did not have any kids. Thank God we did not produce any children. That would have been a disaster for my life. Complete disaster. But again, I was in a situation that I had no business being in. Now imagine if we had procreated and had a child together. I can't tell. She definitely would have went downtown on me. She definitely would have went downtown. Straight down there. Yep, I need that child support for him. 18 years at least. If they go to college, it's longer. I need that. Would have financially, keep in mind, I already had 2 kids from my marriage. So I would have had a third out of wedlock with this woman that I had no business being with. She had nothing going for her life. Absolutely nothing until I arrived. She was looking at me as the savior. And I was looking at her as wet box. That's it. I knew better. So my point is that we think that the people that we decide to date and get into relationships with, somehow we don't connect that back to the money. Somehow we never make the compare. We never connect the dots. We never connect the dots. Somehow we don't think that the decisions and the choices that we make do not lead back to the money, but they absolutely do. Now, this little girl's mom and father are asking for donations. They've created a GoFundMe account. I don't have a problem with it. Hey, do what you need to do. Do what you feel like you need to do. They're trying to raise $50,000. I don't know what they need $50,000 for, but whatever. But do you see what I'm saying? You see what I mean? How everything comes back down to the money. The decisions that you make. See, I don't think this gets talked about enough in the financial community. Nobody wants to talk about the relationships that you cultivate and the situations that you place yourself in that can set you back financially. Nobody talks about that stuff in the finance community. It's not just about stocks and bonds and creating a portfolio and investing and making sure that you find a great job or get a side hustle. Is that all those are things that needs to happen and needs to be addressed? Sure. But it's not just about that. There are other extenuating circumstances that can set you back financially that no one wants to talk about in the finance community because it's too raunchy. It doesn't get clicks and views. You're not telling people that they can be a millionaire in 2 weeks if they just buy your course. So that's not going to get the clicks and views. That's not going to bring people in to look at your videos. Right? Holding people accountable for the decisions and the choices that they make in their life, that's not going to get you videos. That's not going to get you clicks and views on your videos. Right? Telling them that they'll be a millionaire if they just buy your course and follow along with you, that gets the clicks and views, right? Telling everybody that they can be their own boss and they can have their own business, that gets the clicks and views, right? When we know that that's not the case, that's not how society works. Everybody can't be their own boss. Everybody can't have their own business. That's not how society works. You know it. Society can't run that way. I'm being real. Everybody cannot be their own boss. Because if everybody's their own boss, then where are the workers? And then now, in our community, we have it to where we telling people that being a worker is a loser. Going to work and working a 9 to 5 that's a loser's way. That's what we're telling people. You need to be an entrepreneur. You need to be your own boss. There's so much more involved and attached to being financially literate and being financially prepared and being financially successful. The choices that we make and the decisions that we make absolutely impact our lives and our finances. I told y'all in the last video about how I divided 2 homes because we dissolved the marriage. 2 separate households now. Double the bills, double the responsibilities. That's a financial setback, y'all. Having children, that's a financial setback if you are not already well established in your career and in what you're doing financially. Everybody loves little babies. Love them to death. Smell good. Oh, look at a little baby. Guess what? That baby's going to end up costing you tens of thousands of dollars, so you better be ready. You better have a plan. Everybody wants to just have a baby and then wing it afterwards. Everybody want to go out here, kick out babies, and then wing it afterwards. Oh, I don't need to be with the father. It's fine. I don't need to be with the mom. It's fine. I don't need to stay in this marriage. It's fine. We can just get a divorce. Fuck it. Right? And the whole time the government is smiling ear to ear. Why? Because now you're a part of the system. Now you have to rely on the system. And when you have to rely on the system, then you have to be a part of it. You can't say no. You become dependent upon that system. And when you become dependent upon that system, guess what? We got you. You on the hamster wheel. Thanks. Always comes back to the money, baby. That's all I'm saying. Being mindful of the choices and decisions that you make always comes back to the money. You can either set yourself up for financial success, or you can absolutely destroy your financial future. It's up to y'all.
Whirlwind, my life's been a whirlwind ever since I let go of foundations. I've been watching the world end. Tell me, is there anybody coming in the name of a savior? The mind is a beautiful tool we can use when the world needs shaping. There when the pain need facing, going when these hoes need caping. Stood 10 toes, now the woes is awoke and the cage is adjacent. Contemplating doing these drugs, it's the friction of life got me chafing. The fast of the night and the trap is a life and the lights got me chasing. Run around now here alone trying to find me a way, being patient. I'm starving.